whining and ducking behind.
You've let a little steroid man come up from middleweight.
Is Jake Paul natural? No. I can say that with pretty certain confidence in that statement, mainly because, as you heard me mention, I know a lot of the people he trains with, and I have heard things.
On weight,
Put all the steroids, every steroid
whatever
they have.
I would want.
Snake
Here's
venom,
the thing. I would
scorpion
watch
venom.
it.
It's just gonna get interesting.
You got 3 grown men sitting here talking about some bloody YouTuber fighting a gold medalist.
Yeah.
And 2-time heavyweight champion of the world.
And I mean, like, forget that the 2-time, and I'm like, 2 grown men. I mean, like, can you believe this?
I'm not fully grown.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm sitting here debating about a guy who got famous by playing YouTube. And I mean, like, are you kidding me?
If I can test you randomly for performance enhancing the next 2 years, and I never.
Oleksandr Usyk and boxing insiders are stunned at Jake Paul's sudden bulked-up physique. Everyone is questioning how he improves so fast with suspicions of steroid use. Experts agree that no matter the appearance, Anthony Joshua's skill and experience far outweigh Paul's artificial gains, making this fight heavily one-sided.
Just show. For me, doesn't matter.
Usyk highlights the huge gap between Joshua and Jake Paul. Everyone knows Paul's swagger comes from steroids and fake bulk, not real skill. His confidence is inflated, but against Joshua's Olympic-level talent, those chemical gains won't help. Paul is all show, and the fight will expose the difference in true ability. John Fury basically says Jake Paul is using steroids to gain an edge. And that accusation reflects what the boxing world has been whispering for a while. Fans have joked that Paul's sudden muscle gains look extreme and not like usual natural progression, stirring the steroid narrative. When insiders bring up banned substances in relation to Paul, it makes his confidence seem more like insecurity about his real ability, not genuine belief in his boxing skill.
That's what he's doing to gain an edge. Well, I feel sorry for him.
Annie Hearn brings up real boxing rules about banned substances, feeding into the ongoing chatter about Paul's sudden bulk and physique changes. When promoters start talking about drug tests and banned substances around Paul, it fans the flames of suspicion. Fans and fighters alike have pointed out that Paul's dramatic weight gain seems out of normal range. And this kind of talk makes some believe he's relying on artificial help rather than traditional training.
The issue with that substance is it's banned in competition under the WADA code. And under the WADA code, in competition represents the day of the fight, which you could actually essentially fail a test for that a week before the
Anthony Joshua's blunt statement about drug cheating hits right at the heart of the steroid discussion surrounding Jake Paul's physique. In real professional boxing, when someone uses performance-enhancing drugs, they get banned. And Joshua's words remind fans of that harsh reality. Paul's sudden shapeshift and confident talk now get viewed with extra skepticism, because many observers feel his confidence is masking insecurity about whether his size is actually earned through clean training.
If you're on drugs, you get banned. Simple as that.
David Benz doesn't hold back when he basically agrees with the whispers about Jake Paul's physique and potential steroid use. When a serious professional like Benz openly says people think Paul is using PEDs, it underlines how unusual Paul's transformation looks compared to real fighters, who work up slowly over years. Fans remember Paul's huge weight jump that looked too quick to be clean, and this comment confirms those instincts. Paul's confidence suddenly sounds more like artificial bravado than earned belief in his abilities. Even if he denies it, the fact that elite boxers mention it publicly makes the steroid narrative harder to dismiss.
So he never got off.
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does
Johnny Nelson points out that drugs don't make you a better fighter, and that hits right at the core of the steroid jokes about Jake Paul's body transformation. Paul's new physique may look intimidating on social media, but Nelson reminds everyone that strength and fitness don't equal skill, timing, or real boxing ability. Fans and pros alike have watched Paul stack size, and then insist that makes him a threat. But Nelson is saying size gained artificially doesn't improve boxing IQ or fight instincts. That makes Paul's hype seem shallow because a real fighter's progress shows up in technique and ring savvy, not just in muscle size.
I always say, it don't matter what drugs you take, it doesn't make you a better fighter. It might make you stronger, it might make you fit, it doesn't make you a better fighter, and that's proof. You know, so until more news comes out, you just got to deal.
Tyson Fury's exaggeration about Anthony Joshua beating Paul even on his worst night makes clear how little real threat Paul is considered. Fury isn't talking about size or bulk. He's talking about real boxing ability and heart. Jake Paul's confidence comes across like a social media illusion because his wins have been against low-caliber opponents and aged fighters, not topple pros. Fans remember Paul's dodged fights or preferred matchups rather than cutting-edge competition. Fury's comment is almost mocking because it underlines that Paul's size and swagger won't matter against someone with true elite boxing skill. No amount of steroids or muscle hype can substitute for ring experience and world-class talent.
He could probably turn up with broken ribs, a broken left hand, 2 left feet, he's closed on back to front, and with the flu, and then still beat Jake Paul.
Liam Goff brings up how different substances stay in your system depending on testing type, and that fuels even more chatter about Jake Paul's physique and performance enhancements. When people start talking about detection windows and test accuracy, it means public suspicion is strong. Fans remember Paul's previous fights where strict testing wasn't always in place, and that only adds to the eyebrow-raising about his sudden bulk. Paul's confidence and claims of being ready for Anthony Joshua start sounding like someone trying to out-talk the skeptics rather than prove themselves in clean competition. Boxing fans are watching this unfolding narrative as much as the fight build-up itself.
Out there, if depending on the amount, that will depend on how long it remains in your system. So from what I can gather, if you've taken a very limited amount, very little amounts, it could stay in your system depending on the nature of the test. If it was a saliva test, if it was a urine test, if it was a hair test, it's going to stay in your system a lot longer. But
Anthony Joshua's focus here shows he respects Jake Paul's training effort, even if everyone else questions how genuine that progress is. Joshua is looking at Paul's strengths. But unlike Paul, who talks big and makes steroid jokes swirl, Joshua emphasizes hard work and discipline. Fans know that Paul's confidence narrative often masks the reality that his best competition has come from very light opponents and entertainment fights, not world-class boxers. Joshua's calm focus contrasts with Paul's overhyped social media-driven bravado, making it clear who is actually prepared for a real fight on December 19th. Paul's steroid rumors and inflated size may grab clicks, but genuine boxing skill still trumps artificial hype every time.
I'm just looking at his strengths. He's good, and I'm fighting Jake Paul that's going to be the best version of Jake. Interestingly, there has been opportunities to the past this fight. Right now, my main focus is on Jake Paul, and I've hung up the phone respectfully. But for me and my team, blinkers on, and we're focused on our target for the.
Joe Rogan says this fight is dangerous because Anthony Joshua is a real knockout artist whose punches have ended fights quickly in the past. That stands out when compared to everything we've heard about Jake Paul's sudden size shift and steroid speculation that popped up online after fans joked, "You mean extra steroids?" about how fast he changed his body before calling out Joshua. Paul's confidence and big talk now sound more like social media bravado than real belief. In contrast, Joshua's recorded power and explosive history make this matchup real and scary, not a spectacle. People talking about clean sport versus hype remind everyone that experience and real boxing power matter far more than viral gym clips.
Out of him, for sure. And will. I mean, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest one-punch KO artists. What he did to Francis Ngannou, good lord.
Yes.
Do you want?
Johnny Nelson lays it out clearly, saying almost nobody actually believes Jake Paul has a real chance to beat Anthony Joshua, and that lines up with what fans have been saying. The social media chatter around Paul's physique and steroid jokes makes his bravado look inflated compared with the reality of this matchup. Nelson thinks people are tuning in not because they think Paul will win, but because they expect him to be overwhelmed by a seasoned heavyweight. When commentators openly say Paul has just a 1% chance, it underlines how much of a mismatch this feels like, especially when Jake's confidence seems built on hype and in proven size gains rather than real boxing accomplishments.
Yeah, there is a script. We come out and try and knock him out, clean out, cold. I think AJ is just completely focused on the fight, like it was a world championship fight, like it was a world championship contender. We couldn't be taking it more seriously. Is there a script? Yeah, there is a script. We come out and try and knock him out, clean out, cold.
Joseph Parker isn't talking about physique or hype. He's talking about real heavyweight power that ends fights instantly. That cuts right through all the talk about Jake Paul's sudden size gain and the jokes fans made about steroids and quick transformations. Paul's newfound confidence may come from how he looks or what he posts online, but Parker is talking about what happens when a genuine heavyweight punch lands. Joshua's strength has been proven in big fights, and that's very different from someone who built muscle fast to look intimidating. Parker's words remind everyone that in a real ring, it's timing, skill, and impact that decide outcomes, not how big your biceps look in gym selfies or what people speculate about online.
If he lands on you, you're done. You're out. And I picked the game.
Joe Rogan doubles down on how serious Joshua's power is. And that makes all the hype around Jake Paul's size look even more hollow. Fans on social media have taken Rogan's earlier comments further, joking that Paul's sudden muscle gain must be steroids because it happens so fast and doesn't align with a real boxer's progression. Paul's bold talk about knocking out Joshua and changing future plans suddenly sounds like bravado based more on appearance than skill. When someone with real combat insight calls a fight dangerous because of genuine punching power, it highlights that Paul's inflated physique and memes do not translate to actual ring threat. Fans are watching not because they think Paul can beat Joshua, but to see a social media persona meet real elite boxing ability.
Got to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest one-punch KO artists. What he did to Francis Ngannou, good lord.
Yes.
Do you want?
As the boxing world braces for Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul, the stakes couldn't be clearer. If Joshua wins, he reasserts his elite status and proves once again that real boxing skill, experience, and heavyweight power matter most against hype and inflated physiques. A decisive win would silence critics and reinforce why Olympic champions dominate these matchups. On the other hand, if Jake Paul somehow shocks everyone and pulls off the upset, it would instantly go down as one of the biggest surprises in modern combat sports history and leave fans debating for years whether this result was the ultimate crossover moment or a sign boxing's world has shifted in unpredictable ways. Many voices in the sport already see Paul as the underdog and doubt his chances against a seasoned champion like Joshua, while a few outsiders even place bets on the upset because of the sheer entertainment value and Netflix spotlight this fight carries. Are you backing Anthony Joshua to dominate MP?